Good morning. I'm here on a beautiful Saturday morning bringing you post number 17 in my Advice for Life page. I had promised in post number 16, which was about reality and evil as the denial of reality, I had promised to talk about culture and the I thou as opposed to the I other type of relationship. But it's a heavy topic. And the first post 16 was heavy also in its content. And so I thought today we would just relax and talk a little bit about marriage. It's a beautiful Saturday. Let me show you a little bit of this beautiful day. It's warm, but windy, a little windy. So, as I use in any topic that we talk about, I always tend to start with our infancy. So in talking about marriage, let me talk about infancy to help us understand the nature of emotional and physical intimacy. When we are infants, all our physical needs are taken care of. We survived, didn't we? We're here because our physical needs were taken care of. Our bodies were well cared for. And in the nursing, we certainly had a lot of emotional intimacy and closeness. And so we are in an ideal situation. All our needs are taken care of, and we have emotional closeness, emotional intimacy. So, as we get older, that intimacy stops. The emotional intimacy in some form continues, but the physical intimacy is very much diminished. So for the rest of our lives, we will never experience that kind of intimacy again, which we long for, except as an adult intimacy, adult emotional and sexual intimacy. But not all sexual intimacy has the emotional intimacy that we all need as well. So we long for that kind of return to perfect bliss. And how do we achieve it? Well, there are certain requirements that are absolutely necessary for a successful adult relationship, a marriage relationship. And the very first requirement is honesty. Honesty is the basis of intimacy. If you're not honest, you are in a fugue state, F-U-G-U-E, fugue. You are actually in a relationship but running away from intimacy. So honesty is absolutely necessary. And along with honesty, sincerity is necessary. That you are sincerely in the relationship for loving purposes, and that you are honest and sincere. And the third requirement is empathy. You have to be able to empathize with another person's feelings. And their happiness has to be important to you as much as your own happiness is. So let's say that people get married, and lo and behold, at some point, one of you decides to have an affair. And I have two people that I know or have known who have told me that they carried on a 7-year affair during their marriage. And I thought, how very sad. Sad because one would think that the affair indicated true love because it lasted so long. But instead, the affair was an illusion in both cases of these people I know. The affair was an illusion. It was just a fugue from intimacy. The very thing we got married for is the thing we are running away from. Because in both these cases, the pair divorced and did not marry their illicit affair person. They did not marry. One would think, well, when you finally divorce, you've had this loving relationship, presumably for 7 years, you should be remarrying that person after 7 years, but it doesn't happen. It did not happen. So I would strongly suggest be faithful, because if you're not faithful, you are sabotaging your own marriage. And usually the sabotage is only a fugue or a fugue. It's not a genuine relationship, or it wouldn't last for 7 years as a hidden secrecy. And so that is an interesting fact, that although we long for emotional intimacy when we have the opportunity to find it, we often run away from it. Now, I've been blessed, particularly, I feel, with a long-lasting marriage. I've been married for almost 35 years now. And so I would like to talk a little bit about this experience of marriage. So every marriage, I tend to think, has a period of difficulty or roughness. And that period of roughness is similar to, let me find it here if I can, here we are, two people that are like two rough stones. Every time they touch each other emotionally, let's say, they hurt each other because of all the rough edges. These stones, every time they touch, they hurt each other because they're not smooth. There's a lot of hard edges that hurt and are painful to deal with. And so these stones are constantly grinding against each other when we have marital issues. But there's a purpose to this grinding away. There's a purpose to it, because the grinding away smooths away the rough edges if we give it the opportunity, if we don't fugue and look outside the marriage, if we stay and allow these rough edges to be worn away, eventually what you get are two smooth stones, smooth as eggs, and they never hurt each other when they rub together. Because all the rough edges, the unkindness, the emotional hurts, past traumas have been sorted out and smoothed out. So I once saw a lovely meme on Facebook, and it was of a person, a wife saying, "You mad? You go into that room, come out when you've calmed down, or I'll come out when you've calmed down, and we're going to sort this out, no matter what." If the basis of the marriage has been honesty from the beginning, and there are no secrets, there's a very good chance that the rough edges will be worn away, and you'll have those rough stones converted into smooth diamonds. And that's a lovely thing to experience. So I highly recommend that if you have rough patches, and rough patches can last for a year, 2 years, 5 years, but all the time it's really getting better, even if it may not be apparent at first glance. Sometimes there are issues in marriage which aren't the fault of the people who are grinding away at each other. Sometimes the problems in marriage are caused by other people. People who are being seductive to your spouse, or dysfunctional family members who are making life as hard as they possibly can for the married couple by emotional blackmail, lies, attempting to break up the couple. These things would take a long time, and they take a toll. But hang in there, because God blesses sincerity and honesty, and God blesses marriage. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. This is post number 17 on my page, Advice for Life. And have a blessed weekend and a lovely day. Bye.